Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core 4 Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, people.
Hey.
Happy Wednesday to you all, guys. Evan, is my bar gone now? It just went blank. Okay. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast. Like always, before every episode, we ask that you do one small favor for us. If you could subscribe to it and if you could share it with somebody. Share it on social media, send it to a friend if you have somebody that's trying to get in shape or they've been stuck. We put this out every week to basically help you and help everybody else in the world that needs help getting healthy. So if you subscribe, you'll get notified right away when we drop a new episode. That way you don't have to miss weeks and you're like, oh crap, I missed the last 6 weeks of information. You'll get uploaded and notified right when we drop a new one, and all you have to do is click play. Now, today we have a big topic, a spicy
Great
topic,
topic.
a hot topic.
Very good.
One that everybody wants to know is about, and you guys have probably heard of it, these weight loss shots. Things like Ozempic, they're called GLP medications, things that basically you inject and it helps you to lose weight. So we're going to talk a lot about the science behind these things, why they're good, maybe why they're not so good, and if you are taking them, how to kind of maximize the benefits of those. Now, essentially what these are, guys, are a shot that they do a couple things. One, they allow your body to produce more insulin, which controls your blood sugar. Number two, it slows down the breakdown of food inside your belly, which helps you feel full for a longer period of time. And then it kind of shuts off the appetite receptor between your brain and your body, or between your brain and your belly, which makes you feel hungry and feel like you want to eat. And when you can do all those things, voila, you will probably begin to lose weight. Now, there comes with a caveat of things attached to it, right? It's not all hunky-dory. So for a lot of people, they're seeing this kind of as the be-all, end-all to them getting in shape, where they go, well, why would I go to the gym and why would I exercise and why would I eat healthy when I can just give myself a shot in the butt or a shot in the leg and this will take care of itself for me. And we're going to talk to you about why you still have to do the things in between the lines to, if you are taking one of these weight loss shots, to really maximize its potential. Now, they did a study, guys, where naturally when you lose weight, you will lose about, let's say, if you're trying to lose fat and you go, I want to get 20 pounds off of me. Your body naturally will lose about probably 2/3 of it will be actually fat loss. And you'll always lose a little bit of muscle. So let's say, they've done studies and it's about 1/3 of muscle tissue you'll lose, but you'll lose about 2/3 of fat, which is usually a good thing. And part of that muscle tissue loss is because you don't have this big base that you need to support anymore. So your body will strip away a little bit of tissue to make you a more efficient person. And that's where the little bit of muscle tissue loss comes into play. Not always a bad thing, especially if you're doing the things in between the lines that you should be doing. Now, what's happening with a lot on these weight loss shots is they're finding that people are losing 2/3 of their muscle tissue and only 1/3 of it is becoming fat loss. So it's completely flipping what should happen internally inside of your body when you begin to lose weight. And part of the reason is, like we said in the beginning of this podcast, is you're not eating as much. You're not hungry as much. And so naturally when that happens, if you're not eating, if you're not getting in protein, your body's going, well, I'm not getting in hardly any food. I'm barely burning off the stuff that I'm getting. So let's strip away some of this muscle tissue and you're holding on to a little bit of fat. Now, then people go and they jump on the scale and they go, oh my gosh, I lost 1 pound or I lost 2 pounds. This thing must be working. And there's some reality behind that. Yes, if you strictly want to lose weight just for the sake of losing weight, then yes. But if you want to keep and the tone on your body, the muscle on your body, and get rid of fat, so important to still come to the gym, exercise, work your muscles, strengthen your muscles, still focusing on protein like we talk with the podcast. If you can do the things in between the lines and then you can kind of synergistically marry the two, you'll have the best of both worlds. But for a lot of people, they just go, well, I'm just going to do the shot. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to exercise. I'm not going to take care of my body. And all that's happening, they're finding out, is their muscle tissue's going away and they're holding on to fat. You go jump on the scale, you're like, I'm down a couple pounds, but I still feel squishy. I still feel yucky. And they go, what the heck is going on? So that kind of gives you a little bit of the backstory on why it's important to, if you are taking it, still exercise, still keep your body strong, your muscles strong, so that way you can kind of reap the benefits of both.
I think the biggest issue in, everywhere now, America now, is that it's considered or it's referred to as a weight loss drug. People go, oh, well, I'm overweight, so I'm just going to get on the shot and then I'm going to be happy and healthy and underweight. But it's not like Ozempic, for example, is a diabetes medication. It's meant to fight type 2 diabetes. Because type 2 diabetes, your body's not creating insulin, and so your sugar levels get too high. And so basically what Ozempic does is it mimics the hormone GLP-1. It's a GLP shot. All of these are. I'm just using Ozempic because that's the popular one. And it mimics the hormone that you make in your body. And this fights your sugar levels because your body has an issue with insulin, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't do what it naturally is doing, hence your diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, hence why you need medication, right? So it's the high sugar leads to gaining a bunch of weight, but the actual underlying, like, it's to fight diabetes and fight the high sugar levels, because when your sugar's high, there's a bunch of things that go on. It leads to heart disease, kidney damage, but whatever, eye issues, and obviously leads to a shortened life, and an uncomfortable life. So I think the biggest issue, I wouldn't say issue, because I think it's kind of twofold. Because if you're somebody who is overweight to the point, let's say morbidly obese to the point where you cannot live your life, you can't get out of bed.
Like, I got 5 years before I kick the bucket.
Yeah, in the very extreme cases, but even people who can't, you can't move, you can't sit on an airplane, you can't do the thing, or the regular things are very challenging to you to do. I think you far and away should be able to do this, and it's a miracle of science, and it's going to help you, but it's a start. It's a start. It's not the end all be all. You don't just take the shot now and then all the weight's going to fall off and one day you're going to be, whatever, completely happy and healthy and whatever. No, it's a great start, because when you are overweight, and so overweight that your knees hurt, and doing stuff like exercising or going for a simple walk after dinner is a painful experience because of how much weight you're holding on your joints, and it simply can't handle it. You have back issues, knee issues, hip issues. It's great because you can take 50 pounds off without doing anything, and then it's a means to a cause, right? It allows you to, okay, now that I have that 50 pounds gone, my joints feel more comfortable. I can go start squatting and doing things and moving, going on walks, and that's going to lead to another 50 pounds coming off, and then all of a sudden you're cooking with gas, you're rolling. But I think when the only time it gets dangerous is when it's looked at as just a weight loss medication. It's not. And the craziest thing about it, and kind of the most profound thing about it, is if you stop and look, it mimics that GLP-1 hormone. It's a hormone that we make naturally in our body. And where do we get this, and how does it made, and where is it from, and where is it sourced from? You're not going to believe it. High protein foods, fiber, healthy fats, fruits, vegetables, whole grains. Real food, believe it or not, is how we get this in the first place. So it's kind of like, yes, it's going to help in the situations where you feel like, wow, this is too out of control. Now I'm 150, 200 pounds overweight, and I don't even know where to start, and I'm addicted to food, and I have these appetite issues. I can't just all of a sudden just eat broccoli and chicken all the time. It's hard. Of course it's hard. Now we have something to give you a boost, but use it as a boost, right? Use it as the catalyst, the start to get things moving, and then take advantage of it. Implement those healthy habits, and I think it can be a great, great tool to eventually you take over and you go, okay, well, now that I got this under control and I can move my body and do things that are going to help regulate this GLP-1 hormone, now I'm in control. I don't need to rely on this anymore. I can do it with real natural things that human beings are designed and supposed to be doing. and that's proteins, healthy fats, fruits, veggies, and all of this stuff. So it's kind of this. It's fascinating to me when you think such a you think of a shot, a syringe full of this chemical, and it's magic, and you put it in, and that's going to eat away. Really, what it is, but it's mocking something that we get from the real world. That's the whole point of it. It's not a made up thing that is weight loss. It just tricks you into getting what you would be getting if you were making better food choices, XYZ. It's weird.
Yeah. And like you said, you can take the shot, but if every morning you're waking up for breakfast and you're having Pop Tarts, and then you
Sure.
have a Twinkie for lunch, and you go get a hot and ready pizza, and then for dinner it's pasta, you're like, the shot isn't going to do a darn thing.
No. No.
You still have to make those healthy choices, and then hopefully,
Blood
as you
sugar still
begin
gets
to,
high.
yeah, when you spin off the shot and the healthy choices, you can eventually stop the shot, and you go, okay, well now we have a system going. There's a funny, I guess what would he be? Influencer guy. You know Dana Beers, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you ever see the running joke on how he beat Ozempic?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
he was taking Ozempic. Long story
Yeah.
short, the guy's trying to get in shape for his wedding. He's probably got, 50, 70 feet. Just a big boy. And so he goes, I'm going to take Ozempic to help me out. And he was still eating pasta, drinking a
Yeah.
case of beer on the weekends. And so there's a running joke. I'm like, wow, you took the weight loss drug and you beat it. It had no effect on you. So it's like you still have to make good choices. You still have to take care of your body. You
Right.
can't just take
Right.
this, expect to eat like crap all the time, and voila, it's going to turn out positive on the other side.
Yeah.
But just like
And
Evan
that's
said, if you're in that pickle where you're like, oh my gosh, every year it's another 20 pounds and my quality of life is going down the drain over and over and over, and I need something to kind of kickstart me, certainly if it's death or poor quality of life, or take this, then obviously take it. We don't want you guys to kick the bucket, but doing it the right way to make sure that this is kind of a springboard into the next chapter of
right.
getting healthy, which involves going to the gym, doing all those things is going to add
It's a
truly
start.
years and years to your life.
It's a start. Like in the Dana Beers example, that guy should not just be going and getting on Ozempic, and that's the issue. That's where the issue is.
He's
That guy
20
just needs to
something
lock
years
it.
old.
He just needs to lock it in a little bit. If he really and it shows how not serious it is. He's living a fine life. He's not hindered in anything. It's serious, right? It should be a very serious. But now, with the beauty of America and capitalism, it's just the next. It's the boom, right? It's what it is. It's become affordable, and so everyone can just do it regardless. So yeah, it's all mindset related as always, right? You need to, and then you can relate this to any surgery, bypass surgery. I don't know all the names of them, but the
There's a
stomach
risk with them all. There's a risk
surgery.
reward ratio with them all.
There, if you don't if you don't use it as that starting point and just go, okay, I'm implementing this, it's gonna eventually stop too. That's the thing, is I think somebody could take one of these weight loss shots, lose 50, 60 pounds, and then just that'll be it. And I think it's very common is you kind of learn how to live life with how things feel, because you feel fuller. That's one of the big things that you said right in the beginning, is it allows you to feel fuller, which a high protein diet and high fiber diet, same exact thing. But it allows you to feel fuller and fuller longer. So you get up from the table and you stop eating and you stop grazing and you make, decision. But over time, your body just assimilates and gets used to that, and all of a sudden it doesn't affect you anymore, or when you first get on the shot, you're like, man, I have no appetite. That's not lasting forever. It might feel that way for the first 3-4 months, and then you're gonna have an appetite. And it might not be as much, but you kind of learn how to eat with that. Does that make sense? And then you adjust around, and it's the same with all of those surgeries. Lat band, that's what it was called. I couldn't think of what it was. All of those surgeries, it's like you do them, and there's a bunch of things. You go, okay, well, you can't have high starch, high carb diets going forward. You can't have carbonated drinks going forward. You can't have alcohol going forward. And it's like all of these things you can't do, but every once in a while you can have a slice of pizza. And then 2, 3 years after your surgery, you just eat pizza again. Yeah, if I want pizza, I have pizza. It's kind of like and then it didn't help. And that's when it's just a huge intravenous surgery or chemical that you've introduced to your body, not intravenous, but you know what I mean. And you did that with no end game. So if you do, again, make sure it is for the right reason. Just the mindset of going, this I desperately need something, and it's a miracle of science. It can help me get started. I will do it, but I'm also going to work at this as well, and know that it's gonna just give me a head start, kickstart. And this is my thought with all of those surgeries as well. You know, take them as a kickstart. It's a great launching point. And most people don't have that launching point, so great on you for having that help. But you got to implement all of the stuff. Take advantage of it. Like if you go 6 months with a very limited, carbs and high protein diet and limited portion sizes and all this stuff, just because you're able, you like the appetite suppressant feature of this shot is gone, don't let that go away. Go, no, I've just spent the last 6 months training my body to live like this. I'm going to live like this.
There was, to kind of piggyback off of you said, when I was working at Donnie's office before you guys got there. I used to work at a doctor's office, and long story short, there was a lady there who had gastric bypass surgery, who really needed it, and did great. Was like, I'm serious about this. I need help. I'm exhausted all the time. My quality of life is going down the drain. So got gastric bypass, lost a bunch of weight. And they told her, when you do this, you need to take it serious. Just like you said, you can't have, carbonated stuff, no spicy stuff. You can't eat pizza. You can't eat all this. And she began to lose weight. Another lady at the office sees her and goes, oh my gosh, I want to get a gastric bypass too, because I see how much weight that you lost, and kind of didn't really overthink, or maybe didn't know what she was getting into. And it was just kind of on a whim. Like she saw somebody and was like, I want to do that. I want to lose some weight. Got the gastric bypass, didn't listen to a thing the doctor said, continued to eat, crap or unhealthy stuff, had all these complications, felt crappy all the time. But you can see two similar people, two similar surgeries, or two similar lifestyles to begin with. But you can see where one kind of changed her trajectory, and she's like, I'm going to start eating healthy food, filling up on protein, all the good stuff, so I can keep this off, as opposed to the person that just says, well, I hope it's the miracle fix. I'm going to still have pizza, wings, all this crap. And now it was a disaster. So no matter if it's a gastric bypass or a lap band surgery, or you are taking Ozempic or one of the GLP things, you have to make sure that it is, just like we said, the kickstart to a lifestyle change. Because just like you were talking, your body is always trying to find homeostasis. And what works right now might not work again in 6 months, where eventually you're going to start to get hungry, and you're like, okay, now I want real food. I've been so calorie depleted for so long that I'm starting to get hungry and build up an appetite again. But if you can use it as a means to kickstart your trajectory or change your trajectory going forward, that's where people see success, and eventually you can wean off of it, right? Nobody wants to be on medications their entire life, but eventually you can go, okay, I have my system down. I have kind of my template that I live off of. I can start to wean myself off of the medication. Now just becomes how I live. I go to the gym, I exercise, I eat healthy stuff, and then you end up keeping the weight off for years.
Well, we're always finding new baselines, and this isn't even with food, but it applies to this. We're always growing and finding a new baseline, and you get it. Something's out of your comfort zone, and then you do it all the time, and it just becomes normal. And then it's just whatever, Like I think I had this job. I worked for Fred, my stepdad, and it was just 1 week of the summer, the Wyandotte Street Fair, because he was a Parks and Rec guy in Wyandotte. And it was like 4 or 5 12-hour shifts in a row. That was it. That was what I did one summer, and I just worked for an entire week, literally nonstop. I'd go to work, sunrise, and it was like brutal. The first Monday, I'm like, oh my God, this is the longest day. I'm just working this gate. I'm happy. I'm getting, obviously, because I have a job, but I'm like, this is brutal. And then you just kind of assimilate to it. By the end of the week, you're like, okay, this is normal. Or I did it 2 summers in a row. So the next summer, I was like, okay, and you're always kind of getting in the muck, and then you get comfortable with it. So the reason I'm bringing this up is same thing happens. You start taking these shots, and you go, "Oh, I'm full after 2 bites." It's like that's not forever. You just learn how to deal with that discomfort. When it's new, you feel what the discomfort is. You go, "Oh, okay, I'm full," and you move on. But next time, you're just more tolerable of that discomfort, right? And it applies to anything and everything, which is why I use that super weird random example. But we always are finding a new baseline. We're always recalibrating. And so if you're not using that as a launching point, it's really a dangerous game to almost more or less have it all be for nothing. You'll be like, oh yeah, that was the 6 months I took that shot and lost 50 pounds. And now it's back on. I still take the shot. That's super weird. Or I stopped taking it and now I'm not, my doctor's not clearing me to take it, or XYZ, the millionth. It's how the problems ensue. It needs to be looked at as a starting point.
Yeah. And like we said, guys, if you're obviously we're not doctors, but if you're somebody that's like, I
Is it
gotta do
obvious?
this, I gotta lose 100, 200, 300 pounds, I gotta get my butt in motion or it's gonna end up cutting my life short, then
Yes.
obviously talk to your doctor. But with a lot of this, people, we've talked about it before on the podcast, we're very scale oriented and we're very, this number tells me if I'm good, if I'm bad. If I jump on the scale and it goes up a pound, that means I messed up. Or if it went down, that means I'm on the right track. So when you're jumping on the scale and you see it going down, it gives you that little endorphin hit or that dopamine hit, like this is all moving in the right direction. But a lot of what's going on, if you're not, marrying it with the gym or focusing on good quality foods, is your muscle tissues going bye-bye and you're holding on to all that fluffy stuff. And then you're like, okay, now I got to fight this battle. I'm holding on to a bunch of fat. Yes, I lost a lot of muscle. Now I got to rebuild this. So if you are taking it, obviously try to preserve your muscle tissue as long as possible. Just like we said in the beginning, naturally you'll lose about 2/3 fat to 1/3 of muscle. But they're finding that if you don't go to the gym or you don't strength train or exercise, people are losing about 2/3 of muscle and only 1/3 of fat. And if you're super glued to the scale every day, you don't know what's going on. So usually if you can combat that by working your muscles, by strength training, and if you're taking it and you're like, I can't go to the gym because I'm so overweight, my knees hurt, then start
Right.
there. But over
Start.
time, start to progress toward that kind of
Right.
shiny object.
Right. Let it graduate into the next step. It's a starting step. It's not the end goal. It's the starting line. I just always think it's fascinating how like it all just leads to the same thing, whether it's the surgeries, whether it's these shots, it all leads to the same things happen if you just watch your diet and eat real food. It's
Yeah.
and move your body and exercise. It's like, yeah, I don't want to sound insensitive to food addiction and lifestyle and depression and all the stuff that usually leads to why it's so hard to do these things. Because I get it 1000%, and I'm not somebody who's just like, oh, I just eat perfect, it's easy. Not even close, right? But um, the point is that's always the end underlying factor. Like that, if you do Ozempic and eat healthy, you're gonna get healthier. If you do Ozempic and don't eat healthy, you're not gonna get healthier. If you just eat healthy and don't take Ozempic, you're gonna get healthier. So it's like this is what's happening. This can help, but this is what's making the difference, and you can just do that today, with just some willpower and it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy willpower, but if you're just that dog and you got that dog in you, you can do it today. You can turn off this podcast right now and go for a walk right now. And when dinner time and lunchtime comes, make good choices. boom, you started your journey to a new life. It really, it's always, you lose sight of the big picture, and they always end up just telling you the same thing at the end. They go, yeah, take the shot, it'll help, but you got to start implementing better healthier habits too. You go, oh, okay, well, that's really what we're getting at.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is just the nature of our world. Everybody wants their food delivered, their groceries delivered, their packages delivered. Everybody wants everything instantaneous, fast. And when they
Yep.
hear this new shiny thing, that they're like, well, I'll just take this.
Yep.
Just like with any medications, there's complications to it. There's things that can go good. There's things that can go bad. So you have to be mindful of that stuff too. And it's not just you take this and your world changes in a split second. You have to still do the things in between the lines that'll
And it's
progress you for years
easier.
to come.
It's easier.
Yeah.
If I go, you can take this shot, and you're going to get these results in the first 6 months, or you can cook your food at home, don't eat out, limit your carb intakes to watch your sugar, limit your sugar intakes to watch your sugar, no more processed packaged foods, no more alcohol. That's way harder. People are going, oh yeah, it's easier to just do this. But, and the big but is, it's temporary. If that is your all knowing only goal, it's basically, the way I see it is, somebody needs to lose weight. It's a good, it's kind of what to do in the meantime. While you hone in on this lifestyle change, you can be knocking off 30 pounds. Do it. Okay, take the shot, get those 30 pounds off. But if you're not using that time to hone in right here, it's going to end up being a lost cause for you. That's not and that is what nobody talks about. Doctors aren't explaining that thoroughly. People aren't, they're just getting in line. They're going, okay, yeah, here's this, here's the script, here's that, whatever.
They see the
Out the
commercial.
door.
They're like, they all look happy. They're running around.
Right. I'll see you in 2 weeks. And we have a guy at the gym who's lost a ton of weight, and it all started with those. So I'm never going to be anti them. But he's so locked in. He's in the gym every single day. Saturdays does a double in the gym. He gave up drinking entirely. His nutrition, it's like, that is what's making the difference. He's down like just about 100 pounds. It's like the first 40, 45, 50, we give credit to the shot. The last 50 is, if he did not start doing that, he's box jumping now, he's lunging now, all stuff he couldn't do because he was carrying around too much weight. That's just the fact of the matter. Is the carriage got in front of the horse. It was too out of control. So to start exercising, which would help his body, he couldn't. It was too painful, this whatever. And so it really helped kind of get him to the point where he could move and come to the gym regularly with not being debilitated and in pain. And then, and he's just used it in the right exact way. Now it's 100 pounds down, and there's no end in sight, really. It can go as far as he takes it, but it's been such a great example of it and understanding,
the right way to do it.
And people will, I've had people be nervous to talk to me about it. Be like, oh, I've started taking this. What do you think? Like, as if I'm going to be like, no, it's horrible for you. Why are you doing it? It's so much easier to just diet and lifestyle. I understand 1,000% that it's a great start. But I also understand it's not going to matter if you're not also doing the things that us as a gym, and a lot of health professionals do and preach. And that is the underlying. That is, at the end of the day, what we still need to adopt. We need to have a healthier lifestyle. We need to do it the hard way. We have to get control of our portions, what we're eating, how much we're eating, when we're eating, our sleep, our stress management, the sugar intake, the fake food. We still have to get in control of all of that, no matter what. Otherwise, it's never going to be, kind of the goal that you want, of having a happy, healthy body and live till you're 100 years old and be able to do whatever it is. It's not, you don't just do that by Ozempic. Like, it can be part of the formula, but it's a small part at the end of the day. The other stuff is what's gonna do it. It really is. It takes time. You gotta practice it. Like anything else, it takes time to master. And you never master it, but it takes time to get good at it.
Well said, baby. Well said.
Good. Good podcast. Important podcast. Hope it finds the right people.
It will. Send it out. Send it out.
Okay. I'll try.
Uh,
The views are crazy.
what else, peoples? Now, should you need stuff, just like we said, if you are taking something to lose weight, how we said it's super important to put the right things into your body, especially if you are taking a weight loss medication, especially making sure that your protein is high. If you're like, I'm considering taking this, or I started taking this, and I know my diet isn't squeaky clean yet, great thing, protein shakes, easy. Ours, I think, has 25 grams of protein in it now. Very minimal calories. I don't think it has hardly 2 grams of sugar, maybe. But super duper easy, guys. Tastes delicious. If you're somebody that's like, I can't eat anymore because my stomach fills up, very light. If you go to core4supplements.com, we have whey protein, we have vegan protein. We say it every time. We have greens, we have pre-workout, we have BCAAs. You name it, we carry it under the sun. But if you need help getting in shape, guys, or you're like, I need something to make sure that my muscle tissue doesn't go away, that I stay strong inside the gym, outside the gym, highly recommend our protein. Best I've ever tried, hands down. Again, core4supplements.com. If you're a podcast listener or watcher, if you use the code word podcast when you check out, you'll save 10% off your entire order. And if you spend over $100, we ship it all to your house for free. But that is all, peoples. Hopefully that was a good one, an informative one for you guys. Hopefully you learned a lot. So ask away. If you guys have questions, feel free to shoot them our way, and we'll be happy to steer you guys in the right direction like always. But that is all, peoples. Have a great rest of the week, and we will see you all next Wednesday. Peace.
Bye-bye.